Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about new February mystery and cozy mystery novel releases. So I do this every single month, so if you enjoy this sort of thing, I hope you'll hit subscribe. And let's go ahead and hop into our first mystery release for February. So our first one is called Batter Off Dead, and this is by Maddie. This is part of the Country Store Mystery, and it is book 10 within the series. This book will be coming out on the 22nd of February, so towards the end of this month. I will have everything linked down below for you if you do want to pre-order anything or check out, the links and descriptions. But the basic synopsis of this plot, the Amazon summary is that they have a knitting club within the Country Store Mystery series. So they have their country store, which I think sells pancakes and is kind of like a brunchy place, but they also have a knitting club that the main character is a part of, and they're doing one of their meetups knitting, and unfortunately one of the knitters ends up having a puncture on her neck by the end of one of their meetings, and she's clearly been murdered. So our main character goes on the hunt to find out who did this to one of her beloved knitting club members. So that is kind of the synopsis of this. I think the cover is super cute. I really enjoyed that. It kind of caught my eye. I haven't read anything from the series, so let me know if you have, but it sounds really cute and I love the title. So the next one is Murder in the Park by Jeanne M. Dams, and this is the first book in a new series. It's the Oak Village Mystery series. I think that the book cover is really quite interesting. This is going to be more of a historical fiction mystery. It looks like it has a little bit more of a serious tone to it than some of the other more cozy mysteries that we're going to be discussing today. And our main character is Elizabeth Fairchild. This is set in the 1920s, and she is, I think, part of a wealthy family, and she's friends with a man in town who is an antiques dealer and owns an antiques shop. And one day he's found I believe stabbed in his shop, and she goes on a quest to figure out why anyone would want to hurt this really mild-mannered guy who was her friend, who was generally well liked, who owned an antique shop, kept to himself, and she goes on a quest to figure out what happened to this man. And a little bit of a interesting tidbit that the summary has is that one of her father's oldest friends is actually accused of the murder, and the Oak Park village that she's living in actually has an influx of gangsters that are moving in, and they seem interested in the murder for some reason, so she's actually really questioning her safety during all of this as well. So this sounds like a really cool historical fiction murder mystery. I don't think I mentioned the day. This is actually going to come out February 1st, which I'm trying to publish this video on the 31st. So basically tomorrow this book will be out for you guys to check out. So this next book is coming out on the 8th of February. It's called Jane and the Year Without a Summer, and this is being a Jane Austen mystery series. Now I know a lot of you have recommended to me and talked about different Jane Austen mystery series that you really enjoy, so I wanted to throw this one into the mix. This is book 14 in the series, so if you end up liking this book, there's tons of backlist for you to read, and this book is by Stepanie, Barron. And so the book's premise is that it's May 1816. Emma was recently, one of Jane Austen's novels, Emma, was recently published, and she has some earnings, and she's very worn out at this time, so she takes her sister to some sort of spa, retreat thing for them to kind of recuperate and get back into it. But a lot of the other guests seem to be harboring dark secrets, and there's some sort of crime that Jane has to work to prevent. So I think this sounds really interesting. I want to add the first one in this series to my TBR list because I found this one to be really interesting. I also have some of the ones you guys have recommended to me, but let me know if that one sounds interesting to you. I think the cover is really beautiful. I love the color. So yeah, that one sounded super interesting to me. So this next one is more of a fun, quirky, modern, cozy mystery. It's called #FollowMe for Murder, and this is a new book in the Trending Topic mystery series. It's going to be coming out February 15th. It's by Sarah Burr, and this is a completely new series, so this is book 1 in the series. There's already a second book on its way. On the Amazon page it shows that there's another one coming out, I think this year, so if you like it, you'll have not too long of a wait for the next book. So the main character's name is Coco Klein, and she is actually a blogger and social media expert, which I think is kind of an interesting career choice for a cozy mystery. A lot of our cozy mystery protagonists are usually in more traditional or romanticized careers like baking and restoration and things like that. And so she's helping a consignment shop in town launch, and they're just about to have their grand opening when the assistant is found dead behind the register under mysterious circumstances. So she, in an effort to help her client and save you know, the social media deal she's working on works to identify the killer who took out this assistant. So this one sounds really interesting. I think the title's cute. I think it could be a really quirky, fun read. It looks like a fun, like kind of beachy read based on the cover. So let me know if you think that's kind of fun or if you prefer the more traditional careers that a lot of cozies have. But I think this one looks pretty interesting. I definitely would consider it. So our next one is a Cindy York mystery series. This is the book 4 in the series. It's called Killer View and it's by Catherine Bruns, and this is going to come out on February 8th. So the main character, Cindy York, is actually a real estate agent, but she recently left a couple years ago to be a stay-at-home mom. However, her like child, it sounds like, is going into like preschool or like daycare now, so she has more free time on her hands. She's worried about being bored. However, one of her close friends, Pam, ends up like going through a messy divorce, so Cindy's really supporting her during that time, and her friend asks if she would consider selling her home, like helping her with that since she has a real estate background. So Cindy agrees, and she's showing the home to prospective buyers when her friend's ex-husband is found dead in the pool, which obviously looks very poorly on her friend because they're going through this really messy, terrible divorce. So to prove her friend's innocence and discover what happened to the husband, Cindy is on the case. And this one sounds really good. I haven't actually heard of this mystery series that I can remember, at least. Let me know if you have. I kind of want to add the first one to my series. A real estate agent, I think, is a really cool career choice for like a cozy mystery. I feel like it would expose you to so many people, so I think it could be a really good series. It's got really good reviews, so definitely check that one out. Our next one is called Evil Under the Tuscan Sun, and this is a Tuscan cooking school mystery. This is a book 3 within the series, and it's by Stepanie Coyle. So in this series, our main character's name is Nell, and she helps out at a farm to table like cooking school, which that's a really fun premise, I think. And they're, I guess, like a family called like the Orlandis are the ones who run the school. And Nell's chef Orlandi, who she's working with to teach a cooking class coming up, isn't really taking it seriously. Like, he's just kind of doesn't care. Like, he's more interested in getting like on this American cooking show, and she's getting kind of annoyed with him. However, someone from his past ends up dying, and of course this reflects badly on Nell and the school she's at teaching, and then also Chef Orlandi, so she's on the case trying to figure out what happened to this guy. This book will be coming out February 1st, so very shortly after this video is up, and yeah, definitely check it out in the description if you are interested in that one. So this book really creeps me out. This is definitely not a cozy mystery. This is more of a true psychological thriller. However, it's a very anticipated one for this year, so I did want to put it on this list. It's called The Other Family, and this book will be coming out February 8th. It's by Wendy Staub, and this is definitely like a more creepy psychological thriller type book. So I think this is slightly based on a real life case called like The Watcher House. I'll link a true crime video I actually watched on this down below. It's really creepy case, but very interesting. I feel like when I was reading this, it had a lot of elements to it, but basically the main character is Nora, and she's moving from California with her family to Brooklyn, and they expected to live in like some shabby small house because of the price, like the pricier area they're moving to, but they end up getting a great deal and moving into this beautiful brownstone house. However, there's a catch. The previous family that was there were actually homicide victims of like a very bloody murder, which I don't know if I could live in a house like that. I don't know. Let me know if you could, but that would creep me out for sure. And I guess the family has a pug. I should note that the previous family that was murdered, the murder is completely unsolved, of course. And so the family's pug, Nora's pug, is really like sniffing around the yard, and I guess it leads to the discovery of this buried box with like letters and stuff from the previous family, and it sounds like someone was watching them. And so she's kind of going through these letters, and I personally love any mystery series that has like letters or diaries like from the past that people have to use to like piece together clues and stuff. I personally love that trope, and it sounds like the previous family was getting letters about being watched, which is what reminds me of the real life like true crime story about this. So if you're interested, it'll be linked down below. And yeah, so that's kind of what the premise of the story is. I actually really want to read this. It sounds creepy. I definitely won't be reading it before bed because I'm a little bit of a lightweight with really creepy books, but this one sounded particularly interesting to me. Let me know if it's something that you would be interested in reading, because I I love the premise. It sounds very creepy. I like the letters. I think that sounds really interesting, kind of learning about the past, and maybe Nora, I'm not sure, it doesn't say in the summary, but maybe Nora's able to piece together what happened to the previous residents. So yeah, this book sounds like very interesting. I'm excited for it. And I don't think I mentioned, but this book will be out on the 8th of February. So this next one is called The Kill of It All, and it's by Diane Vallere, I want to say is her last name. This is a Madison night mystery, and this is actually book 9 in the series. And this book will be coming out on the 22nd of February. The main character's name is Madison Knight, and I guess she owns some kind of decorating business, and she's being featured on TV, it sounds like. And the police commissioner of town, I guess, really likes Madison's screen presence. So he asks her if she would do like some sort of like on-screen like PR spokesperson like piece for the police officers, I guess. But the first spokeswoman was actually just found dead on the set after Madison's first clip aired. So now there's like a lot of suspicion about Madison, like was she trying to eliminate the competition, what's going on, and Madison is on the case trying to clear her name and figure out what happened to this poor woman, basically. So this one looks cute. I don't know how I feel about the cover. Let me know if you like it, because it doesn't really, it's cute, but it doesn't really tell me anything about the story. Like, maybe I'm missing something about it, but it doesn't really catch my eye or, tell me anything about the story. I can't tell if it's, I can't really tell, what the trope or, what the cozy mystery is about from it. Let me know if you like the cover. Maybe it's just me, but that is our next one. This next one has this is book 19 in the series, and it is a coffeehouse mystery. It's called Honey Roasted by Cleo Coyle. So I guess based on the title Honey Roasted, the story is actually about bees and honey, which I find to be interesting. So Claire is the main character, and she is a coffeehouse manager. The coffeehouse is very successful. And I guess she recently created this really cool latte or coffee drink that's doing well, and it's produced using this really premium honey that one of her friends creates. And the honey is it sells for a very premium price. It's something that a lot of cooks and chefs would want to get their hands on. However, she recently, later on in the story, it turns out that the friend who is watching these bees ends up being found, she falls off a high rise, her apartment building, and the swarm of bees is also missing. So there's a lot of confusion. The police are kind of thinking, was it an accident? Was it a suicide? But Claire knows better. She knows her friend would never abandon her bees like that, and that she thinks her friend was murdered for the honey or something along those lines. So I think this one sounds really interesting. I've never read actually a coffee house or coffee themed cozy mystery. I'm not actually a coffee drinker myself, but I love the smell and the process of coffee making, so I think this one sounds really good. Let me know if you've read it. Our next book is called Out of Temper by Amber Royer. This is the 3rd book in the series, and it's going to be coming out February 1st. And our main character is Felicity, and she runs some kind of chocolate bar restaurant, and she's so far had 2 murders or something associated, I guess, with the chocolate restaurant she runs. And so she leaps at the opportunity when a cruise ship invites her onto the cruise ship to do chocolate demos and classes on the cruise ship. She even takes her best friend on the cruise ship with her. So I'm already intrigued, because the setting of a cruise ship really fascinates me, because it's very much like a closed murder because you're out at sea. And I'm very interested in it because the cruise ship is actually a mystery-themed cruise. Her best friend that she takes with her, named Autumn, is actually a failed mystery writer, or has put aside her writing, and this kind of causes her to have to confront that past project and why she gave it up more, which sounds interesting to me. But basically someone on the ship ends up murdered, and someone that Felicity is close to and really knows is suspected of the crime. So she and Autumn go on the case and try to figure out what happened to this person. And I personally love the idea of a cruise ship themed, mystery themed cruise ship. That sounds really cool, but then kind of the closedness of a cruise ship murder. So this one sounds very interesting to me. I haven't read anything in this series, but it's a chocolate series, so that sounds pretty good to me. Let me know what you think. And I don't think I mentioned this is part of the Bean Bar Mystery series. It is book 3, and it will be out on the 1st of February. Our next one's called Birthdays Are Murder, and this is by Cindy Sample. This is actually the first book in a Spindrift mystery series, and the main character's name is Sierra, and I guess she was furloughed from her job, so she moves back to Spindrift Cove, where her married, grown-up daughter is living to be close to family. However, she quickly runs into problems when she realizes that nobody really wants to hire a middle-aged entertainer, which I guess is what Sierra was doing previously, and she's having a hard time getting gigs and work, unfortunately. So she kind of has to, it sounds like, swallow her pride and then become a birthday, like a children's birthday party entertainer. And when she's at one of these children's birthday parties entertaining, someone ends up dead, and she actually becomes the main suspect for that. So this is the first again in this series. It is a Spindrift Cove mystery series, and yeah, I kind of like the premise. I think it sounds interesting. The children's birthday. I'm hoping a lot of children weren't exposed to the murder. That would make me, I know it's fictional, but that would make me sad. But I like the idea of Sierra kind of having to maybe shift careers, like, and I also like that she's a bit older than a lot of our protagonists in cozy mysteries, and she already has like a grown daughter. I think that could be like a really interesting dynamic. I don't know if she's close. I'm imagining she's close to the daughter if she moved back to be with the daughter. So yeah, that sounds really interesting to me. And this book will be coming out on January 25th. So this next one is called Murder, Sweet Murder, and this is by Eleanor Kuhns. This is a Will Rees mystery, and this is book 11 within the series. This book is going to be coming out February 1st, and it's set in January 1801. So definitely a historical fiction, like mystery series. And the basic premise of the plot is that Lydia's estranged father is accused of murder. I'm not sure the connection between Lydia and Will Rees. I don't know if that's like his girlfriend. I haven't read the other series, part of the series. And so he's on the case and trying to figure out why her estranged father is being accused of murder and who actually did the murder. And so the man that was murdered is named Marcus, and he actually owns a plantation. Keep in mind, of course, this is from 1801, and it's believed that he was potentially killed by one of his workers. That's kind of the other theory that Will Rees is kind of exploring. And on top of this, a family member is also targeted during their investigation, kind of adding more peril to the mystery. So this one sounds really interesting. I haven't heard of Will Rees mystery before, but it sounds like something up my alley. Let me know if you've read it before. Our next one is A Deadly Bone to Pick. This is coming out February 22nd, and it's by Peggy Rothschild. So this doesn't sound like it's part of a series, at least it's not listed as one on Amazon, but our main character, Peggy, is an private investigator and like police officer, and I guess her husband has died. She's a bit older, and she decides to move cross country with her golden retriever. Love the dog element. And so she buys a new home, and she's very excited, and I guess the Saint Bernard named Noodle, how cute is that name, ends up wandering into her home, and she kind of takes on the job of training him and taking him in because it doesn't seem like he's being cared for. And so one day she's taking Noodle and her golden retriever on a walk on the beach when Noodle digs up a severed hand, which that's terrifying. That is so terrifying. I'm sorry, I might have been calling her Peggy. Peggy, I think, is the author. Molly is the main character, but Molly alerts the police, of course, when she finds the severed hand, and they immediately are actually suspicious of her because I guess there's some incident in her past that doesn't look so good on her record, and they are suspicious of her because of that. And unfortunately, the only testimony she has that she discovered this hand and didn't do anything was her dog, so that's not going to really stand up too well in court. So she has to use her ex-police skills to actually figure out what happened and clear her name. So that one sounds pretty interesting. I like the premise of it. It sounds pretty interesting to me, so let me know if that's something that would interest you. Alright guys, that's everything for today's video. Let me know down below if I missed any February releases that you're excited for. Which of these releases sounded interesting to you? Did you have any that really struck your fancy? Let me know in the comments down below. I definitely added a couple to my own TBR. And I hope you'll hit like and subscribe for more content. I do post mystery related booktube content every single week, and my name is Amy Marie again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!